June the 5th, 2020. Guys, you're looking at the updated information that came in 4 minutes ago at 10 a.m. Eastern. The models have not changed that much, but notice the location of Cristobal. We were watching it spin down into the Yucatan, into Mexico, and move back up. Now it is headed north. It's doubled its speed from 3 miles an hour, 6 miles an hour forward speed. It's still at 35 knots, 1,000 millibars pressure. So now we are definitely seeing the turn, and this thing is going to come offshore later today. Now, the two main models that I watch are right here in the center together. The Navy model is coming just off the tip of the mouth of the Mississippi River, cutting through Mississippi and going into northeast Louisiana. The other model is a Canadian model, and it's very similar, except it's on the other side of the Mississippi River, and they both cross in Louisiana. Now, I would say this would be very close to maybe the Monroe area, in the where 20 comes across from Vicksburg over to Shreveport and Bossier City there, guys. Your other models are scattered out. There's a reason for that, because this storm can change, but these are the two most accurate. And let's look at some of the impressive satellite imaging. As we go back, starting early last night and going to what's now 9:08 a.m. Central Time, you can see the storm is definitely moving north. And one thing about this, I've got it speeded up so that it's easier to see rotation and direction, because it gives you just a better idea because of the speed. What I'm seeing is not only the north turn here, but a slight turn to the west. You see that, guys? Just so as the modeling goes forward for the next couple of days, keep that in mind. It does appear to have somewhat of a westerly turn. That may simply mean a few miles along the coast at this point, but we're going to be watching that, guys. Now check this out. All of my friends in Florida, you've been getting a moisture pump for what, the last week or so here? Still going on, and what's happening is this is throwing everything off the top right quadrant of the storm so far, and that's what we were looking at last night with the wave heights over 20 feet in that north right quadrant of the storm. And taking another look at this, you can see as it's getting daylight this morning, the higher cloud tops are definitely in this right front quadrant, guys, and it's throwing it out all the way across the eastern Gulf of Mexico, the moisture is. So it's a huge moisture pump. We've been knowing that, and that could pile on a lot of water in a lot of low-lying places, Louisiana, and anywhere along the Gulf Coast, be careful. But Louisiana is especially susceptible because of the low-lying areas. Now, this is a 4 a.m. update from this morning, and I think it's moving just a little faster than they think, because they're saying, again, you can see 4 a.m. Friday was here, but you can see now as of 9 a.m. Central Time that it's much closer to the shore. So this timing could change, but it's got pretty much the same path, again, from central Mississippi over into the Louisiana-Texas border right there as far as possible pass. Then it moves up through Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois in its path, and it'd just be a tropical depression at that time. And you also have tropical storm watches along the Yucatan near the Cancun area right there. But now, this is the center of the storm, so it's got it coming in ashore Sunday night at 1 a.m. Monday, which would be Sunday night. So it's still going to be enveloped in darkness. You're not going to be able to see a lot of things happening, and that makes the storm much more dangerous if you start getting into chaotic situations with high wind, power outages, having to travel. But make sure you got your travel plans in place now. Now, we should also pay attention to this. It's the path of the storm, but it's the earliest reasonable arrival time of tropical storm force winds. And you can see along the coast, even though it's coming in Sunday night, Saturday at 8 p.m., as it's starting to get dark, you're already getting the tropical force winds all the way from central Texas over into Florida. Tomorrow at 8 a.m., their wind pattern will be getting closer, and because of the curve of the storm in the northeast quadrant, you guys along the Florida coast Pay very close attention to this. Now, this was updated an hour later at 5 a.m. This is Fox hurricane down in Florida. And you've got the movement north-northeast at 7 miles per hour, sustained winds at 35, the pressures at 1,000 millibars. That will go down and the storm will increase. But notice that you're going to have along the coast Sunday, 2 p.m. in the afternoon, 60 mile per hour winds. That's sustained winds. You're going to have gusts higher than that. That's if it stays at a tropical storm. But 60 mile an hour sustained winds with heavy rain will take down trees and power lines. Okay, they possibly will close some bridges in New Orleans, things like that. So pay attention to it. Don't wait to the last minute. Now, as far as your timestamp, notice it's June the 5th here. We're going to kind of walk this thing through. As it advances, you can see the pressure is starting to drop. But notice it starts to curve to the right just slightly. And what does that do? It puts a lot of northeast quadrant wind, guys, into the panhandle. Florida. You see that? Mississippi. Let's keep moving forward. Even coming in closer, same area. And look at this. Mobile Bay's getting the center of circulation right there, which means from Gulf Shores to Orange Beach, Perdido, Pensacola, Fort Walton. But as we move forward with this in time, remember 60 mile per hour sustained winds is what's predicted. But even a 14 mile an hour gust over that would put you at temporary winds into a Cat 1 category at 74 miles an hour. But guys, you keep an eye on it. We'll watch for the updates this afternoon. So heads up. Be safe.